Wow. Almost seamless.
Yeah, and you made it.
Didn't quite have any F-ups.
No stress from last week.
So, hey, welcome to another edition of Modern Day Thrive. I am one of your two hosts, Dean Baker, and next to me is George.
Hello.
How you doing, George?
I am good. It's almost Friday.
Yes, this is the last official day before it's Friday. Yeah,
this week.
Just like that. That's how it works. That's how we roll.
Yeah.
I am taking the next two. I'm taking tomorrow off.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've been working straight through pretty much last weekend, this week, and I got to work Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Any plans, or are you just going to turn the alarm off and not get up?
Get up, mow the lawn, as long as it's not raining.
Okay, that's not a day off.
That is a day off, believe it or not. And
that's what I do on my day off.
Well, my day off is going to do that, and then I'm going to probably go out and do some investigative reporting not reporting. I'm searching for space.
Oh, okay.
So I think tomorrow's the day.
Yeah.
So we're going to go look at some spaces.
You've been finding anything online that you're keen to?
Not
You're just
really.
going to drive around
there's
and
lots of space.
which way the wind's going?
Right, just like that. There's lots of space out there. I'm just looking for the right deal. So, yeah, hell of a week. Been kind of quiet out in the news. Although I went to the bank the other day and I saw the flag at half-mast and I go, all right, what's that about?
The dollar died?
Yeah. I heard the dollar is doing better.
I haven't heard.
I heard the dollar is actually doing well.
I mean, when it's lost 95% of its value, it's probably not hard to have a good update.
Ah, crap. Yeah, well, no, but I saw it, and the only thing I can think of is there was another school shooting, or was it school shooting, or was a mall? There was a mall shooting. It might have been for that. And,
okay.
But it was like the only thing I could find out there was like, of course, you go to a news site and all you see is shooting.
Yeah.
They can be talking about 15 shootings in the last couple of weeks.
Okay,
and,
what state are we talking about this time?
Right, and that was what, Indiana, I think?
I am not 100% sure.
So, our hearts go out to...
I did see the news. Yeah, it's terrible.
But that was actually, I think the turn on that one was a bystander actually shot and killed the suspect.
He had a concealed carry weapon license, so he did...
And he did what
prevented other people from dying.
Yeah, because I guess it was it was in a food court or something like that at a mall. And probably when that was going on, I was probably at the mall in a food court, I was like, oh man, that's scary.
It really is. But, you just never know.
Anywhere, anytime.
You don't know if you could be in one of those situations.
So
it's really bad.
Need I invest in a flak jacket, and bulletproof armor?
Something you really want to wear in Florida, standing outside in the heat.
Yeah, if it stops a bullet, I guess it would. Not really all that. Yeah, it's really It's crazy world. But no, so I saw that and I went, that's just had to go in and look around and see what's going on. Mm-hmm. There were some other things. What have you been noticing this week?
Crypto's going back up. I noticed that.
That I noticed too. Bitcoin is up a few grand.
Yeah, it's doing, actually kind of seems to be holding a little bit there too. So I don't know if that's a good sign that it's going to start picking back up. The market itself's up today as well. I don't regularly watch either one of them really.
Right.
Especially I've been really busy lately, so I don't. But I get alerts in the morning because some of the programs I'm in, I get paid every day.
Right.
So I just look to see and make sure that came through, and then I kind of just move on.
Right.
Until I decide what I'm going to do, with it. But I don't I don't peg myself to it because I think long term.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna
short term doesn't scare me.
I'm going to play something. I'm not going to get into it. We're going to talk. We're not going to use the sound. But
okay.
Unless there's something you wanted to talk about more. Okay. So one of the things I noticed in the last week. Oh, looks like there is sound. But I will mute the sound because we don't need it. Come on now. Play it. All right. Let's see if I can take it to... No, don't want full screen, but I do want something a little larger. Mini player? I don't know. Let's go back to the... Okay, so there is I think I was kind of... Elon Musk seems to like being in the news a lot. So every week he's doing something, talking about something. He's one of those that just can't stand not being in the news. Last week we talked about the slap and tickle fight he's having with Trump, and of course one of the next couple of stories about him was the fact that he bought one of these folding houses.
Oh, really?
It's called Boxable.
I have not seen that.
BOXABL.com. And I'm trying for some reason.
It's not pulling up.
Well, I'm trying to. They want me to set up an account, log in, and they want my info. They want to capture me, and I'm trying to. All right. Tell you what, I'm just going to go to Google. I'm going to Google some images.
Could be on YouTube even.
Oh, there's a video on YouTube. I guess I could do there. That might make things easier, but then the problem is I have to go to full, and everything's running wicked slow right now.
Boxable, huh?
Boxable homes. Okay, so these homes, I guess they're in, it's sending me back to the site.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe pictures.
I want to.
Do it that way.
I had not heard about that. Ad.
I mean, we got mobile homes here, but that's not really, I'm assuming it's a little more intricate than that.
Okay, so I'm going to jump into this video here. Okay, let's go ahead and... Oh, it's an ad for Boxable on YouTube. Right. I'm about to play a video on YouTube, and it's an ad for Boxable.
It heard us talking before we got there.
I think it might have. And I'd love to actually replay the ad, because the ad is pretty freaking cool. So, right now, everyone's kind of crazy, like, I can't afford a house, I can't afford rent, I can't afford. All right, let me just skip ads and go to where I need to go to so we can kind of see this thing. No, I don't want the YouTube Red and all this stuff, so let's go right in. Oh, Jesus. Okay, let's see. That's a little bit better, right? So let's just kind of go to it. Boom.
There we go.
Okay, so this is Boxable. It ships to you from a truck.
Interesting.
The kitchen's in. the bathroom's in, everything's installed.
Already piped, right?
You know, the only thing that's not in is furniture. Watch this. This is crazy. And, you know, they pull it off the truck.
It's like an erector set.
They install it for you, look at this thing. It literally goes together probably within a couple of hours.
That's crazy.
And it all is folded.
Looks like the roof as well.
This is the craziest thing. And get this, it's like...
That's like $1 million product right there, man.
No, it's like 50 grand.
Well, meaning just
all right.
The amount of people buying it.
These are 20 by 20 boxes.
Hey.
Okay. And of course you can buy two and they'll put them together.
Oh.
You design it online like you're designing your room from IKEA.
Nice.
You can get online.
So you can have probably corridor between the two or whatever.
You know, and
that's what it costs, around 50 grand in that range?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I think it's a pod that, like I said, and this is them, I guess, folding it back up again.
I gotta send that to Sarah because they were talking about wanting to get a house.
And I think it's out on her side of the country.
Well, I mean, you know, if that's the case, buy the land. And then
buy a piece of land and get your order in, because right now these guys have this huge factory, okay, and they're building.
They drive it right to you.
You know, yeah. This is them in the factory, and I'm not going to play the sound and all that because you know, we're giving them enough advertising already. I want to be able to talk about it, but this huge factory. It's all done inside. They put it together. Now, one thing I liked about this, it's made out of steel. The three materials: steel, foam for insulation, and concrete.
What do they do with concrete at?
It's probably filled inside, you know, probably in the base, probably filled inside the walls.
Maybe, yeah. Interesting.
Steel, concrete, and foam.
Interesting.
No wood.
That's great.
No wood. And they
termites.
build those walls, they hinge them all together, and literally you see...
he's doing it by his hand.
Yeah.
Just walking.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know how they seal it. I guess they have to seal it afterwards, maybe.
You know what? I'm kind of guessing by the I'm sure there's you know, a rubber seal there. But look at that. Isn't that incredible? Could you imagine?
Studio near you.
It's 20 by 20. That's you know, by two of them I got a studio, sure. Of course, you still have to have septic and some type of sewer and power and all that, but the houses, they pre-build the kitchen in them with the appliances and everything. And
so they probably run your power. I see a little box back there. So you probably run your power to some type of a junction.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, isn't this incredible?
That is a very neat idea.
That comes on a trailer on a flatbed, sent right to your property.
I mean, it's spacious enough, but it's not
gets put together.
Super spacious.
You're not talking 3 months to build a house anymore.
Well,
they might
cost.
And I was also hearing the way they're trying to get their factory set up right. They're trying to have, man, I'd have to play the whole video for them to talk about it, but it was like they can assemble one of these houses in the factory in like a day.
Wow.
All right, a day. They're trying to get this geared up. They have the orders, but they're trying to get geared up so that they can assemble a house in 7 minutes.
They doing it with robots?
They don't look like robots, but you know, they're building walls in
7 minutes.
7 minutes a house. I mean, look what Ford did to the
probably
factory.
Need a bigger production team, obviously.
You need a lot more people, but if you can go from maybe they have 30 employees building a house in a day, and they might need 300 employees to turn around 5 houses a day, 10 houses a day, to 5 houses an hour.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, if you got people just building walls all day long,
just push it away.
You know, and looks like they're all pretty much standard cut, and you know, if it's a 20 by 20 folding house,
wow.
They don't have to, you know, they just have to have all the materials and start assembling. Time to build walls. Isn't that insane? That is insanity. I don't know how the air conditioning, the duct work. I'm sure everything's smaller and more. I don't know.
But if it's insulated, it's not going to be an issue.
I mean, you're talking steel, concrete, and foam.
Yeah.
So you're literally talking about something that's solid and not built out of, cardboard and something that'll blow away when the twister comes.
I wonder what the weight is on it.
I'm sure it's heavy enough, but I'm sure it's heavier than a prefab. Those prefabs you could feel when a wind picks up. You can feel those prefabs.
Because the requirements are different. Because those you have to have hurricane straps and stuff.
Yeah, well, a strap. If you get hit with a twister, all the straps in the world aren't really gonna. My house gets hit, the roof is gone.
Yeah,
depends how it gets hit, and of course, that's like anything.
So they manufacture everything right there, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Assemble. They pre-wire all the walls and probably just attach them together. And
nice.
I mean. Isn't that incredible? This is something
awesome
that
idea.
Any young person should be thinking about this before they even look at renting a place for $2,000, a one bedroom for $2,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
When you could, I don't know. I'm sure the financing would be incredible on this.
For $50,000, yeah, probably wouldn't be nearly. Obviously you need a space to put it in.
You need a place. You need some land.
If you can get a lot, don't buy a lot right next to the city. Get it out a little bit.
I mean,
take a
look at now all the trailer parks. That, of course, some of them are. It's a lot of land that somebody makes a little bit of money on each little tract of land, and I'm starting to notice those tiny house. Trailer parks are just kind of morphing into the tiny house parks.
Yeah.
Now these aren't technically mobile, even though they are. They are mobile. Yes, you can put them back on the truck.
I would imagine you could probably undo what was done if you had to move it.
Oh they say that instead of if you had to move.
It's like,
you just need to find a place to put it.
Well, I got some vacation property
and
in
the
Virginia.
way it came apart, the way it came together is how it would come apart, minus whatever furniture you stuck in there. And then, boom, move the house.
It doesn't look like that many steps.
No, it does not. Isn't this crazy? So, I mean...
That's a brilliant idea.
I mean, it might take them a couple of years to kind of figure out their... But look at this. Look at how the roof is just folding down in.
That's crazy.
And
it's not a shingle roof either.
I'm sure whatever roofing it is, I mean, the roofing companies are going to have a shit fit over this thinking, how am I going to, I can't re-roof these things. There's probably a lifetime roof on these
I wonder
things.
if you don't need to.
Probably not.
If anything, because they're seams.
Maybe they're just
seals, but
maybe just
once you put it down, you don't
maybe
move
just
it.
plastic sheeting that's just, that will last forever. Why not?
Well, it's like gotta hit a button and your roof opens up like a Superdome.
Now I'm seeing, I mean, in a house like that, a 20 by 20, you actually don't need central heat and air. You really don't. You could work with window units. Hell, I'm sitting right next to a baseboard unit right here that just and it doesn't take much to air condition 400 square feet. 20 by 20. It's not. Yeah, it looks like it's a little robotic here, or maybe that's exactly what they're looking to do.
Maybe.
I think this looks like a rendering, not a reality.
Could be prototype.
This is a rendering. This is how they want to turn around, homes, and good luck with that. Robots doing everything. That's great. But
increases their efficiency.
Oh yeah, no COVID.
Yeah, right. Robot number 1 sick. Can someone come in and take his place?
Put it all together. It's like it's like selling Rubik's cubes. Here's your cube. Just
pretty cool.
Snip, snip, snip. Look at that. I mean, look at how small that is. Boom. One wall.
I mean, obviously, if you were moving somewhere and you were single, this would be almost perfect for you.
You know what? It's beyond that. It's a good starter home for anybody.
Well, even those little houses that they custom build for, you're probably more than these are.
And these are stackable. Look at this.
Oh, that's cool.
2-story.
That's cool.
Stackable, they said. They said they can go as high as 3, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of neat.
Because, again, steel, concrete, and foam for, look at that.
You know what? That would airlight the Airbnb business. You could put something like this on a property for $100,000.
I tell you what.
2 whole residences there. You put stairs going up the upstairs. Boom.
I tell you what, if you had land, if you had a chunk of land, 100 acres, and you could fit 200 of these units, 300 of these units,
community.
Making, I mean, the average, what's the average rent in a trailer park? What, three to 500 a month, maybe 400 or 500 a month.
Yeah,
might even include power.
Possibly.
Your hookups, water, power, depends, whatever. Maybe 500 a month. So when you think about, a mortgage, $200,000 house, a mortgage, likely if your mortgage is $1,200, probably $500 of that is actually going toward your house, and the rest of it's taxes and interest and all insurance and all that stuff. So, but look at that, they can stack them, and all of a sudden now you can do 2 houses. You could really double your house. They said in the 20 by 20 structure, you can just go add another one, another one.
That could be the new duplex.
Why not? They're not, that's why I was saying this the other day. It's like, they're not making small houses anymore. They're not making 2-bedroom houses anymore.
No, you can't.
Because it's not,
because they can't charge $500,000 for it.
Right. They're not making small houses anymore. You'd have to actually have one built yourself. But here you go. Here's a small house. Now, this is a 1-bedroom house, but you can buy 2 of them, and now it's a 2-bedroom house or a 3-bedroom house. And look at these things. All of a sudden, they put 2 of these together or 3 of them together. And you can stack them side
by side as well. So you really could build a whole complex, really.
You can, It looks like the foundation, you don't need a slab. You could probably just block it up. And
you'd have to have some kind of footing, I guess, of level ground. But I'm assuming that's going to take care of itself with that kind of weight.
But you want to have you want to have a house in the country, buy a nice piece of land near a babbling brook and a bunch of trees and mountains around you. Well, there you go. Truck this in there.
Cool. A buddy of mine keeps showing me this house he likes over down by him. He's down by the airport.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a C, so the house goes this way, and this way. And in the center is almost like a courtyard with the pool in it, and both sides can see each other through the glass. So it's kind of cool. You could easily probably build something with this.
This would be, it looks like that's the end of the video.
That was pretty impressive.
Isn't that something? I saw this and I went, and I guess why I saw is because Elon Musk bought one, and I think he said he lives in it.
Appreciate the like, Naja. I haven't seen you.
Oh, Naja's there. Happy belated National Hot Dog Day. That was awesome. Naja has the best hot dogs in Orlando. But so
that's cool. I really would. I'm gonna find that.
I'm
gonna send that to
Elon
Sarah.
Musk $50,000 tiny home. I tell you what, they have pre-orders, and even if it took a couple $1,000s to pre-order one, buy one.
And then save up the money to pay
worst case, that someone will offer you money for your pre-order if you just decide, I don't want
it.
And someone will say, I'll double your money.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it does happen. I mean, there was a short
the way the market's going.
Not that long ago, a camera came out in the market. It was a big deal camera. Everybody wanted one. They took pre-orders, and people were dropping $10,000 pre-order on a camera.
Oh wow!
And then some people just decided, I'm going to go another way.
Yeah.
And they were selling their pre-order
because they didn't want to lose their spot.
Just because of that. So I mean, So I'm just gonna.
I am going to send that to Sarah.
It's just crazy how this thing, and it's, the arrangements of windows and doors and stuff is completely configurable. If they can pre-build the wall, they can pre-build pretty much anything. Why would anybody not want this?
Especially for a first-time house, if it's just you and one other person.
Yeah.
I think it's you buy a big enough piece of property, you can always expand later.
Right.
If you decide later you want more space,
yeah,
you just expand.
I'm wondering if the Boxable is in the stock market, and if
I
it's,
don't know.
you know,
We'll have to look.
if it's going anywhere, or if it's still privately held, or if Elon Musk bought it.
Yeah, right.
Like he tried to buy Twitter.
I haven't heard much about that.
I
don't know
haven't
where
either.
that's going.
It's been quiet. Which
The
means,
last I heard, there was a court case on it. So
oh, yeah. Well, then it's going to be months.
yeah.
No, he probably just decided, it seems like the price is too much.
They're trying to force him to buy it, I think is what's going on. I think that's what the court case is
no
about.
no takesies backsies.
Yeah.
Really, they're gonna call that? It said no.
Yeah,
He said he was no takesies backsies. He's gonna be the biggest.
Probably because the stock tanked a little, and he's like, no, we want the $54 of stock. We'll take that now.
I just it's one of the original apps, and I just kind of I just can't see why people were thinking it was worth that kind of money. So
I've never been a fan of Twitter.
Yeah. So,
but it is what it is.
So yeah, I think your daughter. I think anybody. I think if I had the money, I would buy one. I don't know where I'd put it yet.
Yeah, room in your backyard. Come on, man.
But a 20 by 20. It could be a studio.
Tear your other house down and put one in front of it.
I could buy a few of these and make them little modular studios.
You really could.
I
say we keep looking into.
Don't need the kitchen. So imagine I could save money without a. No, I don't need a kitchen. Tell you what, I need a sink, a mini fridge.
Yeah.
In a bathroom, and that's it.
Yeah.
Studio in a box.
I mean,
I don't need a bedroom. I don't need. I need one 20 by 20 room.
Yeah.
And I don't even need windows, or maybe one wall has some windows in it. But yeah, I'm like,
your windows could introduce more noise,
But, I'm like, oh, what? Yeah, 50 grand, and and it's movable.
Yeah.
It's movable. You pick a piece of, and land is still fairly affordable. Houses aren't affordable. Land is actually still kind of affordable.
I think if it's land with no structures on it, it gets a bit cheap.
Well,
that's where the price comes in.
Roughly, it's around what? It's around.
I haven't searched.
I want to say 200 grand an acre. That's commercial. I think 200 grand an acre. Now, it's in areas that aren't like high dollar value areas.
Gotcha.
Average, I think 200 grand, and maybe I don't know. I was thinking like 50 grand, but it might be like half acre or something like that, or meaning if you wanted to buy a 10-acre tract of land, it might cost you 500 grand.
Gotcha.
50 grand an acre, maybe 10. But can you imagine having somebody that might just go, you know what, I can get this zone for multiple families, and just kind of, and I'll turn it into a trailer park, but we're only going to allow boxables in there, or tiny houses.
Yeah.
And put a bunch of pads down. And
I've actually thought about doing something like that, buying like 10 acres in the mountains somewhere, and making it.
That would be perfect.
Yeah,
a little boxable, and now you've got you build a deck, you build a barn, or you have a boxable for that, and then another whatever, make a barn. Maybe they'll make a boxable will make a garage.
Yeah, why not? You could make
an unfolding garage. Why
just
not?
Make one big window that has a.
Make a boxable garage, and it'd be cheaper because you don't need a kitchen and a bathroom and and you put them together, and then maybe you put a little extra roof in between them or something like that. And
it's funny you say barn. I'm kind of
boxable.
I'm kind of. I'd love to have a secondary, home.
Yeah.
And then a secondary 2-story with an upper,
kind
of like a play garage, like a barn.
We might be a few years away from being able to just kind of, let's get online, order one, and it'll be here in 2 months.
Yeah, right.
We might be a few years away from that. They're still trying to figure out their line.
But if it takes off, they'll stay around.
You got to imagine some billionaire is going to look at them and go, I want that.
Yeah.
and then have the money to really make it
I'll
work.
finance your company.
You know, it could be you know, the Amazon guy, forget his name. Bezos. He might just say, "Oh yeah, I want that," you know, and say, "I can make that happen."
Yeah.
You know, and then you do get like some city councils or some town, city, state governments to get a lot of these houses, get a lot of the trailer parks, because that would facelift all these trailer parks, you know, and of course you probably wind up putting a lot of these guys out of business, but why not? Why these trailer parks? You know, that's their other thing, is to have actual techs that can go in and know how to put them together.
Well, because I think at the time you would do that is at the time it gets bought by somebody.
Yeah.
Current ownership wouldn't do it because they wouldn't want to spend the money.
Well, they don't have the money.
Yeah.
They built, they put everything into this thing, and now they're still coming up short. And they go, now we need another $1 billion to roll it out on a large scale to scale it up. That's the big word, scale up. And that's where they're at, I think, is they need to scale up how they're going to produce and get their materials, and but man, I'm sold, more so than an electric car. I'm liking the house, because and why isn't there been a greater need than now?
Oh yeah, right.
Because
I'm surprised someone hasn't come up with it earlier.
Developers are just going insane on, this $500,000 house, $500,000 house.
Yeah.
I'm like, nobody can afford that, and then rentals are, and that's what happens when they can't build any more affordable houses. Then the rental market goes, oh great, now we can raise rent rates and stuff like that, and they're just going insane. And meanwhile, anyone making an average living or below average living can't afford anything. And so why not own? Even if you don't own the land you're sitting it on, you can move it.
True.
Even if you don't own the land you're sitting it on,
just got to be careful that you have time in the equation, because you never know when someone's going to go, yeah, I'm selling, you got to move.
But the thing of it is, once they start rolling them out in city by city, then they'll have the support structure to say, great, I need to get a couple of techs here to get out here with a truck. And they said that you can even lift it with a forklift.
Wow. That's crazy.
Which you see cranes there on the video, but they say they make these things so you can
that's crazy.
Lift them with a forklift.
That is wild.
Even 2 forklifts, whatever. Yeah. Just get it off the truck. You don't need a crane. That's big.
Yeah, that's big dollar.
That's complicated, but a forklift?
If they get big enough, you never know. Maybe they'll start opening up in other states. Like maybe
that's
in the middle of the country.
They're not going to be able to just roll them all out from one state in the they're just going to have to, once they build one,
they're going to limit their market.
They'll have to have an East Coast, West Coast factory, maybe a North South, whatever.
Somewhere in the middle, maybe.
In a way, as far as I know, we're not trying to get materials from other countries.
I mean, it seems like it's all built in the USA.
It's
so that's
concrete. There could be a concrete shortage, but steel. I don't know. U.S. still makes a lot of steel, so and you can recycle steel, so so I mean, I can't see anything that's keeping this thing from rolling out. So
how long
anyway,
they been around? Do you know?
Huh?
How long they've been around?
You can I'm sure they're
this
in
is
the
what happens
very
when we
early
spend hours
stage.
Looking at YouTube, all kinds of stuff pops up.
The stuff that pops
is neat.
up.
I mean, you come across some cool stuff, though. I mean,
but if you're looking, the biggest problem most people, I'm afraid I could sell my house and make a few bucks. And
where are you gonna go?
And then what? I'll spend more money trying to get to, but I would get into a house like this, because I think I could probably buy that house and
Airbnb your own house.
And even rent the land it's on probably for about what I'm spending now.
Yeah.
So I could cash out, take the value I've got out, buy one of those direct.
Oh, yeah.
And decide to live wherever I could find a chunk of land.
Sure.
Why the hell not? And
yeah,
then I'd have a new house, probably a lot less issues with owning an old house, which is what I own, a very old house. And then all of a sudden I'm going, I don't have to put every single waking moment of my life into, because the house is new.
Yeah.
And it'll be new for a while. And likely it might be new, it might keep its value and its shape
durable.
and its condition. Right.
So if it's durable, I mean,
right.
What's the
pending any storms and hurricanes and whatever.
Real severe that comes through there, but it looks pretty durable now.
I wouldn't mind being a house made out of steel. That sounds about right. And concrete.
If steel's exterior though, does it really hold up over the years? That's the problem. I mean, I'm gonna imagine steel's gonna rust.
Galvanized steel is not that complicated a thing, treated, and as long as you avoid moisture. They make those shipping containers so they never rust. They're like guaranteed never to rust. I
don't get that.
That's what it is.
So if you hit it with the side with a grinder and it breaks open the outer surface,
are you really going to get outside and go, look, I'll see what's underneath this paint? And
I'm just curious. I mean,
we'll see sparks come off of my grinder.
Got to get dinged around when they lift them up and they probably butt them up against each other.
I don't know, but you know what? I'm sold.
Yeah,
I am absolutely sold. That would be my next house. If those houses were available tomorrow and somebody's still offering me more money than for my house, which I get offers every week, they just want my house. And
cash offers.
And I'm like, all right,
you can
great. Let me get a delivery date and a down on one of these.
Yeah.
And first I'll buy it and I'll treat it like it's a weekend home, and then I'll sell it and I'm out.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? And then someone can overpay for my house.
Yeah.
I'll get out of it, So anyway, that's
at some point, right?
That was my big find for the last week. I'm glad I remembered that
I'm glad you did too, because I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
I didn't.
So Boxable, definitely one of those. Even if they're not ready yet, we've seen enough to go. All right, maybe they've only made a dozen of them. Obviously one for Elon Musk.
It may just take enough people to ask about it.
Right.
For them to go,
could be.
Hey, we're getting a lot more interest over in this area.
I couldn't imagine why a bank or a financial institution wouldn't go, yeah, how much you need?
Oh, probably more so a seed investor,
or a billionaire, a bored billionaire, or one of the sharks from Shark Tank would look at it and go, yeah, I'm in.
Totally forgot his name. Not Elon, but the other big guy, Warren Buffett.
Oh,
he'd be the type of person, but he generally buys.
He wants to own. He owns the steel, the concrete. He owns everything else. He's happy no matter what. He owns everything else. Yeah. Every inch of material that goes, he probably owns a piece of. So, ain't worried about him.
No,
but yeah, this is a no-brainer. Can you imagine ordering a house online? Just back in the day, back in post-World War II, Sears, I think, was selling houses.
I wouldn't doubt it. They had all kinds
they were selling houses, like a kit. You could buy a house from Sears, and it would show up on a truck, a bunch of lumber pre-cut, and they did that. And, of course, a lot of houses got built. Probably not too many in Florida, because you don't build houses out of, you don't build houses out of wood in Florida,
No.
Or you did, and they don't last very long.
So I forgot to send it to you, but I'm just going to read this real quick. This happens to be Warren Buffett, but I happened to see this, and I'm thinking this is pretty much how I'm doing it now and what I'm doing with my investments. Never depend on a single income. Make an investment to create a second investment or a second source, which is pretty much what I'm doing. I'm taking funds from one, starting up a second one, potentially a third one, a fourth one as I find them. I think it's a smart way to play it.
So, all right.
It's along the multiple streams of income that we.
Funny you say that. Is right around the same time I'm looking at Boxable in this video. I'm listening. I'm making breakfast or something, and I put on a Warren Buffett video. Not Jimmy Buffett video. No, Warren Buffett video, and he was talking, and he was doing this this lecture in front of a group of people, and he was talking about, let's just say, let's go back. I think the video was actually in 2019 or 2018, something like that. So he went back 30 years. Okay. 1989.
Meaning his lifeline type of thing?
Just everybody's lifeline. Okay. He went back 30 years, and he says, if you look at the top 20 companies 30 years ago, top 20 on the stock market, you know, they're
it's probably the same
and their value. No,
it's not.
Let's I might have to actually find the graphic.
Yeah, find that. That'd be kind of cool.
So I'm gonna do this real quick. He says, look at the top 20 companies that were in the stock market 30 years ago, late 80s. Okay. And of course, there are companies like Philip Morris, cigarette company.
I've heard of them, yeah.
Cigarette. They're the biggest cigarette tobacco company. Yeah. Japanese companies, huge. You know, U.S. companies, I can't even name them because I didn't know. There's one pharmaceutical. And then you look at the top 20 companies from 2018, 2019. Okay. A few things to notice. 13 out of the top 20 companies were U.S. companies.
Back then or now?
No, now.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Now. We were probably half as many back in 89.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So now, and second thing to mention was the amount of money. Back then, 100 million was considered, these people are
cream of the crop.
Huge.
Yeah.
Now companies are worth trillions of dollars now. You know, and of course companies like Amazon and Facebook, and these are companies that are in the top 20. A lot of tech companies, and he didn't even really talk about that because tech companies really kind of came out in the 90s, after what he was talking about. Tech companies started going crazy with the .com thing, and
after MySpace died,
you know, Windows 95. I mean, you know, that was just kind of a big decade. So this is all before then. So if you look at the top 20, and it might take me a minute to find the video, and then I'll just find the graphic where he was showing. So of course now, you know, now companies are worth 20 times that.
I believe
it. So where it showed their value, you know, $10 million company, $50 million company, $100 million company. Now it's $10 billion company, $20 billion company, $100 billion company, $1 trillion company, stuff like that. So
there was probably a big gap back then too.
The value, the jump, you know, first America's dominating the large companies currently traded right now. 13 out of 20 is big.
Yeah.
Nothing from Japan, one French company, I believe, and just some other stuff, you know. But the companies, and of course Berkshire Hathaway, is in the top 12, I think, or 15. I don't think they're top 10, but again, Berkshire Hathaway is in there, but they weren't in there 30 years ago.
Ah, gotcha.
Or they were, but they weren't considered top 20. Now, one of the things he didn't talk about, and I'm watching this video and I'm going, okay, so that doesn't mean those companies that were there 30 years ago aren't there now.
Sure.
They're just not, they haven't jumped in value as much. Philip Morris is still around.
Yeah.
Now, what I decided to do,
so much, so
there was the top 20th company from 1989 was a company called Merck, which I believe is a pharmaceutical company.
Okay.
Never heard of it, but
I haven't either.
You know, and of course that I looked at their stock value back then. I looked it up. I decided, you know, can I do that? You know, so I'm Googling what was the value of Philip Morris back then to Philip Morris today. Now their stock value, meaning if they were trading at $9, like Philip Morris 30 years ago was trading at like $9. Don't, you know, I'm not completely accurate on this.
We'll go with that.
We'll go with that. Now the value is like $100.
Yeah.
So they've gone up 1,000%. They just haven't gone up like Facebook and Amazon and all those. Tesla is in the top 20 companies. So it was interesting. What he didn't really say is the fact that, a lot of those companies are still around. They just didn't do as big. They're just not in the top 20 anymore. So most of them are probably still around. In fact, Berkshire Hathaway wasn't in the top 20. I'm not sure Berkshire Hathaway existed in 1989.
I'm not sure when they formed.
He kind of probably merged he probably had a company called Berkshire and a company called Hathaway and decided, okay, now it's Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah.
But again,
I don't know the story to that one, but yeah.
So, and we know that Amazon didn't exist in 1989, along with Facebook and along with a bunch of other companies that are trillion-dollar companies now. But, I just thought, he was trying to make this point about trying to understand what's next.
Gotcha.
That was his kind of statement, is you just don't know.
Correct, yeah.
And you can't, you have to kind of assume that companies that are forward thinking, but doesn't mean those companies, you could have bought stock in any of those top 20 companies 30 years ago and your value's gone up 1,000%.
Well, that's why I do dividend investment. If 30 years ago, if you had started a dividend investment and consistently stayed with it, you would have a lot of value, irregardless whether the stock has gone up or down or in the middle.
So I'm, I'd have to do a little searching to find it, but
find that for next week. I'm curious to see that.
But
that'd be a neat
I thought it was just priceless when I was hearing him talk about that. Let's see. So how's your daily investments going? Your dividends?
Happy.
Talk about it, please.
So I just added another $1,500 to the amount I already had in there. So I'm at $70 a day right now, and that's going to go up. I will reinvest weekly until I get to a number that I can potentially either live off of or grow a side money elsewhere, to where my daily income's not an issue.
Okay.
And that is my goal. I mean, I'm pushing really hard right now to eliminate my positions.
Well, I'm right behind you. So
Yes.
as far as
I am
actively finding
trying to
these
do this.
passive streams, that is definitely something that.
So we got Austin Trading Group, which we're both in currently. Pays 2% daily, 10% a week. Very nice number. I mean, it's untouchable in standard banks. It was funny. We were talking a minute ago that we talked to my daughter in great length last night because she wants to buy a house. She's like, "Oh, I got 10 grand sitting in the bank." I said, "Yeah, how much have you earned in the last year?" Probably nothing, but it's safe and secure. So we're going to actually start her an account for around $300, which is the minimum, and then I'll help her how to reinvest it to grow it, to get it to where it's I was like, she's like, eventually you're going to want to buy a car. Maybe this becomes a way for you to make your car payment without having to come out of your paycheck.
I found the video.
All right.
I'm actually just gonna share it here in the chats.
But yeah, the investments are going good. I'm super excited about them. I am going to grow them quite bigger than they are now.
Yeah.
Little by little by little, and then bigger by bigger by bigger. So it's just.
Okay, I found it, and I found the graphic. I'm going to try and find the first graphic when he was talking about the companies from... Come on. It's a long-ass video.
Oh,
it's saying 12 minutes, but... he sounds so old. Okay, so... All right, so here's... And it's a moving video, so I'm gonna go into it here. Boom. So here's the top of the list for the top 20 companies currently. Apple, $2.05 trillion company.
Wow.
Saudi Aramco, no misunderstandings there.
Yeah,
Big oil company.
Yeah.
Microsoft, yes. Amazon, yes. Alphabet, don't really know. I know of an Alphabet.
It's Google.
Is that Google?
Yeah.
Google.
Alphabet's Google.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's who that's in reference to. Alphabet's Google.
Alphabet is Google.
Pretty sure.
Hey, this is why we're here. We learn. But you look here, U.S., Saudi. Here, let me just go here.
Alibaba.
Alibaba. That's not a big mystery there either. But U.S., like 12,
and this
13.
Is current or
this is Apple wasn't really around.
Yeah, you're right.
There were apples back in the 80s, but we ate them and didn't.
Yeah, right.
So, but if you look at Chinese companies, sure, Alibaba, big company.
Mm-hmm.
Taiwan, semiconductors, sure, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Korea, China, no Japan in the top 20. I'm just going to let it scroll down. Of course, there's Walmart, MasterCard, along with Visa. And, of course, it jumps away here. Yep. All right. So there's that. I'm going to try and find the companies from...
Right there.
Is that from the... no, these are still
current.
Yeah. He's looking at it again. They were... So that was the first thing. Oh, we hit an ad. I'm going to have to play it so I can kind of wait for the 10 skip ads. Thank you very much. Let's see if we can get into the other list of companies. And I thought it was just really noteworthy for him to be talking about all this stuff. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. No, we're still in current. But he is saying 6 of the 6 companies, 5 of them are American. So in the top 6 companies, 5 are American.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Yes.
Who says we're not the best? Huh?
And it looks like they're all tech companies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's the only one that can see that kind of, fast growth. I didn't see MySpace in there.
No. Well, if that were current, I don't think MySpace is.
Come on, show me.
Website, I think, is still available.
No, they're still going back to here. All right. Should have been more prepared. Okay, here it is.
All right.
All right.
Oh, wow. Yeah, look at that.
So
Japan.
Yep. Japan was dominating
Japan and U.S. primarily.
Industrial bank. Look at, and they're all banks. Bank.
That's
Exxon,
back when banks paid.
U.S. Of course, Exxon probably dropped. When did the Exxon Valdez dump all that oil?
Wow.
That probably did a big chunk of their bottom line.
Yeah, I don't remember what year that was.
That was probably 80s.
I remember.
Probably Exxon Valdez was probably 80s.
Probably.
Which means they probably fell out of the top 10. And we still had Exxon, General Electric, which is almost, aren't they done?
They're still a company.
Yeah.
I don't think they've been re-added, but they got pulled off the NASDAQ stock exchange.
Did they? Okay.
I think they still have a stock.
Yeah.
But it's not worth anything.
So telecommunications companies, American Tel, never heard of them, but I'm sure that they, and of course something's kind of
blocking you.
Netherlands even gets a top 20, U.S., Tokyo, more banks. Japan was just seriously dominating the everything. And then you're looking at, okay, they're still billion-dollar companies, but they're not trillion-dollar companies. Toyotas and the,
Well, yeah, $104 billion back in that time frame.
Yeah.
Would have definitely been, they would have been huge.
But there was
actually, there's a lot I'm going to have to billion companies. They're all double-digit billion.
Okay, there it is. Merck & Company. I just saw it there. Just jump back to it right there. All right. So this is the one I saw. And of course, steel companies, lots of banks, securities companies, petroleum companies,
Exxon,
you know, IBM. I mean, these are the guys who started the whole tech generation, between IBM and, you know, and then, of course, there's this Merck and Company, which is pharmaceutical. But, yeah, I mean, and you're looking at them like, yeah, they're still billion-dollar companies, and not one of these are top 20 today.
Wow.
Not one of these companies are top 20, and that was 19...
I don't even know if IBM's IBM anymore. I think they've changed names so many times. But
Right.
Exxon's still Exxon, but... you know, I don't know about the banks.
Yeah,
but
and in the top 20, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 20. Wow. When we were like 12 or 13 out of 20. I didn't do an accurate math count, but there it is. That's what I caught, and you absolutely should watch the video. You know, man was really, you know, I thought he could have, you know, really, and maybe he did, and I just didn't catch all of it. But I thought he could have, you know, talked a little bit more about, you know, the differences and the value and what is 50 billion. So a lot of those companies were in the 50s and $60 billion companies. What is that compared to today in value?
Yeah,
you know. So I just thought that was it really caught my attention, and I started going through it. Then it made me want to think, all right, you know, and of course that company, Merck and Company, stock value went up 1,000% in the last 30 years.
Wow.
10 times the value.
That's crazy.
Went from like a $10 stock to a $100 stock. That's pretty good business, no matter what you say. So
I agree. It's all based on the valuation over time, you know.
Yeah, and
what they do, what
and
they provide,
you can't expect to go up against a company like Amazon when they're just you know, completely, you know, just insanely. And Apple too. They say Apple's the number one valued company on the stock exchange.
Wow.
Apple, really?
You know, a lot of people use phones.
I mean, they really dominate the phone market.
I think phones are the highest usage out of all. But I mean, they obviously have other products, but I think phones are
their computers.
You know.
But even when they've always, their computers are always a niche market.
Yeah,
the artist,
more expensive,
the musician who likes to do garage band music and stuff like that, and they think, oh, only Macs can do video and filmmaking and and graphics and all that. Only Macs know how to do that, and of course, you know, IBM goes, no, we'll show you. Not just IBM, but Microsoft says, no, not going to happen. And now, of course, you know. But
they're still favored by a niche market, though.
They are, but they were never going to be that top. No. But being part of a $1 trillion company, it just made, you know, it was made more seasoning for the sauce. You know, it was really something. So I don't know. I just saw that, and I kind of. It just made a lot of sense to me, and then it made some of it made no sense. Why you didn't give everybody their props? I would have liked to have seen. I didn't do the research on the top 20 companies to see if they're even around.
Yeah,
and of course we just looked at some and goes, yeah, I don't think they're around anymore, or they're not traded anymore, or they're not whatever. So
or there's just so many other of that industry that you know have pushed them down.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for banks to get into lists like that right now because, you know, they're just not as popular. There's so many other options out there.
Absolutely. And the hour goes by.
And they did.
We didn't catch our girl here. She didn't hop on.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next week.
We'll talk about our money doubling project next week,
and we'll be in some new digs probably in the next couple of shows. So all this wonder might actually get changed again. So but yeah, we're keeping it real. Anything else you want to share before we go?
We got a couple quick comments. Was that you posting stuff?
That was me.
Okay.
Yeah, I just put that link in there. So
no, I think we are good for this week. We will, like I say, talk about some of the stuff we were talking about earlier that we didn't quite get to.
Yeah, you know. Well, I'm in for a week now. I'm in for a week on Austin Trader and
getting paid.
Getting paid 4 times so far because it's been 4 days, but getting paid.
Tomorrow you get paid.
I'm
twice.
getting paid with Bitcoin going up, so it's a little extra tip.
Yeah, right.
You know, so kind of nice that way. Other than that, you know, I got nothing else to talk about. Right. Sorry, I hijacked the show again, but it was good stuff.
Hey, it was good stuff. It was really interesting. Like I said, I am going to share that with my daughter because it could be something she could look forward to, or at least look into.
Yeah,
maybe that gives them an option. Cause
this goes right along with between tiny house technology and even the container shipping container houses. So
I wonder if that's limited to area as well. You know, you being out in Colorado, you're not really next to water per se.
No.
Could you get a shipping container there? Maybe. I guess you have to pay for transportation, but
shipping containers go on trucks.
They put them on trucks, yeah.
And trains. Shipping containers go right from the ship to a train or a truck.
I've never seen that. Wow.
Yeah, they get shipped.
Cool.
You got their ship together.
I kind of like the house better, though.
I like the house.
I think the other one is a lot more work involved.
Can you imagine a train loaded down with like 200 houses kind of trekking across the country and going, you know, that would be an interesting sight.
Well, the shipping containers are nice, but you got to completely customize it. You want a window, someone's got to cut that puppy out and fit it.
Yeah, so you got to weld it.
I think that's a lot more work than buying something like this.
Then you still got to run your wiring and your insulation and all that stuff. It's a shell, is what it is. But you know, there are developers that are just working with those now.
Yeah.
So they can go in and drop the container.
I've seen a lot of videos on that. Where people are doing some really good stuff.
And then they just build it on site. But it's already a complete shell.
Yeah.
4 walls and a roof. It's already done.
Yeah.
So we'll see more of that stuff coming up.
Cool.
All right. That's all I got.
We will call it a wrap.
Yep. Good night, everyone.
Everyone have a good night.